debates on TV, on PBS. It's great when we get that far. And he's won their district tabletop speech contest. Outside of politics, he's an information technology consultant for 34 years, and he doesn't say here, but I know he shut down his business for his governor run. I mean, he really took the race seriously. That's no minor sacrifice. Currently, he's serving as Chief Technology Officer of Business Architects, consultancy he co-founded. He has 3 patents related to database theory, which I know he was very excited about a couple of years ago. He puts it, he's still married to his first wife, Roberta. I don't even know her, but she's a very, very nice lady. 3 daughters, and they have their first granddaughter now. And the title of his presentation today is Stacking Cannonballs. So let's welcome Ken for coming down to Pennsylvania.
Okay, who thinks they're ready? Show of hands.
Ready for what?
Very good question. I get asked that question a lot. And it's not so much, am I ready? I'm always ready. It's a question of how ready. Well, the talk today is about stacking cannonballs. So obviously, who's ready to stack cannonballs? Show of hands. Come on, people. That's good. Stacking cannonballs is not as easy as it seems. I have here a couple of balls. Let's pretend these are cannonballs for right now. Oops. If you try and stack them, what happens when you let go?
They fall apart.
Falls apart. Obviously, there's a trick to stacking cannonballs. Now, I know what you're saying. You're saying, Ken, why are you talking about balls? Because I think that the way that we run, build, operate, and grow a political party is very much akin to stacking cannonballs. If you think about what the author and satirist Claire Wolfe once said, maybe it'll help bring it into perspective. She said it's too late to save the system, but it's too soon to start shooting. Now, regardless of which side of the fence you're on regarding Ms. Wolfe's prediction there, one thing is true. You've got to start thinking about stacking cannonballs, either the metaphorical cannonballs or the actual cannonballs. And the choice will be up to you. I still see the same. Why are we talking about cannonballs? Let me bring up a real-life example. The Libertarian elections last year. Let's be honest. How many people were disappointed with last year's results? Quite a lot of them. Do you know what? I wasn't. I was ecstatic. People disappointed that Michael Bednarik got 400,000 votes. I was overjoyed. That's 400,000 votes. 400,000 Americans felt that we could use a libertarian president. That's a lot. Especially when you look at some of the other candidates. We wiped out all the other third parties. We got more votes than all the other third parties put together. We even almost caught up with the imploded independent Ralph Nader, who was way, way down off of his peak. We grew the party. We got more libertarians elected to office. We have more members of the party. We have more people registered libertarian. We got more media. By virtually every measure, the party got better. This is why I'm not disappointed. There's another reason why I'm not disappointed is because, again, let me be honest. I did not expect Michael Bednarik to win. Why? Because it's not his purpose to win. Because what we are doing here is we are stacking cannonballs. In order to stack cannonballs, you can't do them one on top of the other. You've got to stack them like a pyramid. You get a broad base. On top of that, you build the next level, and the next, until it comes up to a very tall, broad-based peak. This is what we were doing with Michael Bednarik. It is my opinion that we will never have a libertarian president until we have a couple of libertarian senators. And we won't have those senators until we have a couple of libertarian congressmen. We're not going to have those congressmen until we have several libertarians in various state houses. Of course, we're not going to have them until we have libertarians in the town councils, in the school boards, in the county government. We're not going to have them, of course, until we have people on the local level, on the volunteer boards, dog catcher, coroner, precinct level offices. And we're not going to have those unless we have a solid base and foundation upon which we can build. This is one of the reasons why I didn't expect Michael Bednarik to win. there. It's out there because we are a political party who has learned how to build pyramids where the other parties haven't. Every time you look at them, they take some celebrity. Ralph Nader, put him at the top. Jesse Ventura, put him at the top. John Anderson, George Wallace. No matter what the third party is, if you take some sort of a celebrity and put that celebrity at the top, you've got Ralph Nader sitting up top. What happened to the Green Party when Ralph Nader went away? All you have left are a couple of green balls left behind. So what do? Obviously, we've got to stack cannonballs. We have to stack our metaphysical cannonballs. And that starts with a base, a platform. Always has to start with some sort of a platform. And we do have a platform. It's called the LP. We have many excellent planks in our platform. And like any good platform, or any good box, it needs 4 walls. You can see those walls are not very high. You don't need very high walls to make a political party. Because once you have that platform, you can now attract different people. You can attract the disaffected. You can attract members. You can brand your party. Statue of Liberty. You can set up all of your planks to get it set up straight. The walls of your box are the infrastructure of your party. One of these walls is your state chair. Another one is your website. Another one is your newsletter. Another one is this convention. There are many, many more walls that are involved there. But all of these walls are necessary. Because once you have those walls, you can start attracting members. You have a place to put them. For example, I have a member here. Oof, I gotta get better at this. This member thinks the drug war is important. This member thinks the environment is very important. This member is against the war in Iraq. It's unconstitutional and illegal. This member believes in free trade. All these members believe in different things. Yeah, that was a spy. I have spies. This one believes in repealing Social Security. This one, free speech. Say that one again. Another one here, firm believer in the Constitution. The words mean what they say. Another one here, gun rights. Believe in gun rights. Yet another one, taxes are simply too high. Members, that first level in our pyramid sits on a solid foundation, our platform and our planks, held in by the infrastructure of our party. What happens then? Now that we have our infrastructure. I said that down, I said, no, I'm going to drop it. Once we have that, we now have critical mass. They know we're out there. They know there's something called the LP. They know what our stands are, and they know we have members. Now, what do? They ignore us, right? Kind of right, half right. In the beginning, they ignore us. Because these members are a resource. Those resources are being nurtured by the infrastructure. And out of that will bubble up a few colorful characters. Candidates. Volunteers for public boards. They stand on the shoulders of their members. And the party grows just a little bit. These people are the ones who will get you in the media. The things that these people can do are amazing. Let me give you a for instance. A few years ago in Montgomery County, my home county, we mined our membership. I don't mean mind, I mean mind. You know, when you're talking about stacking cannonballs, you got to make sure people are on the same page with you. But we mined our membership. We sent out a letter. We did phone calls saying, we are looking for candidates. In Pennsylvania, we are fortunate in that we have a very, very local elected office. Judge of elections and inspectors of elections. The judge of elections runs the polling place. There are 2 inspectors, one from each party, from different parties according to the law. And we run candidates for those things. Now, in some areas, one of the, or the other of the old parties is just not strong enough. So they don't always run somebody for that second inspector position. Well, we took a look and we found that in Montgomery County, 78 of these positions were up for grabs. We went out there and we got dozens and dozens of candidates. And when the dust finally settled, bubbling up to that next level, we wound up electing 12 libertarians to partisan office. That made us the county with the most elected libertarians in the entire nation. And we held that distinction for 4 years. Now we're down a little bit. Philadelphia's ahead of us. They stole a page out of our book. But that's okay. This is why we're here. Because we got that next level. Now they start paying attention to us. They said, holy smokes, they elected 12 people. Catches their eye. And it adds to our pyramid. In addition to that, some of our true blue members who don't want to run for office, they decide they're going to get active. They start going to their local meetings, township meetings, school board meetings. Who's been to a local meeting in the last month or so? If you go, you people are the ones that are growing your party. You're the next level. You help build that level. I'll get over it now. When you go to your local meetings, you can have an impact. Some of the things that we've done at our local meetings and at my town of Abington Township, I could be here the rest of the day telling you the sorts of things that we have done. Let me just give you a couple for instances. One of them, they tried to pass an anti-graffiti ordinance, they called it. If you had graffiti on your property, they would come onto your property without your permission, clean up the graffiti, bill you for it, fine you, and send you to community service. Well, what we did is we got our members to come to the meetings, a couple of true blue leaders to stand up there and speak out, and we denounced it as the Persecute the Victim Act. And we changed it. We changed their mind. We changed their law. They never passed it. That's the sort of thing you can do once you have that solid base, with a few people above that base taking advantage of that. Another thing we did is we stopped a secret deer hunt. They went out one morning, the local playground was surrounded with policemen. They were in there, culling the herd, the local deer herd. Of course, I've got nothing against hunting. I think it's a great thing to do. But I am against the secrecy. Next meeting, I was there. Who authorized this? When did you authorize it? What was the vote? Who voted in favor? Who voted against it? They gavelled the meeting out from under me. This meeting's adjourned! Without answering. Next day, front page of the papers. Man left the podium demanding answers. Yeah. After the meeting, a guy came up to me. Excuse me, my name's Maurice. I'm with the People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. I would like to work with you on this. Strange bedfellow. I enjoy a good steak, but I also hate secrecy, especially in government. We worked together, and we were able to end the secrecy. Not the hunts, but the secrecy. So I got what I wanted. Maybe he didn't get what he wanted, but we worked together. These are the things that you can do at the local level. And after a while, you'll find that people are reacting to you. One that I got this on the slide from one of the commissioners. They wanted to raise the fire tax. And the first thing the president commissioner said when they got together for the meeting, how do we get this past Ken? That's what you want. That's what you want. I wasn't even in the room and I was arguing against them. And why was I able to do that? Because I stood on the shoulders of the membership of the LP who stand on our principles held together by the party leadership and infrastructure. These are the sorts of things that we can do as we build our pyramid. And the larger it gets, you'll find that we not only have colorful people, but we have some unusual people. People who wind up running for state office. I think of all sorts of people. Go up to the next level. You think I can do it? All sorts of people who can do it. Spear Lancaster, excellent example of a colorful person, doesn't quite fit the mold, who is more than capable of going up to the next level. And what happens? All sorts of things happen. First of all, they expect you to be there. When I was thinking of running for governor, actually I already was running, I just wasn't on the ballot yet, late 2001, we're monitoring one of the green lists. And the Greens are saying, should we run somebody, should we not run somebody, should we focus here, should we step aside, what should we do? And somebody answered, well, you know the Libertarians are going to run somebody. You know it. I'm not even on their list, and they're talking about us. Why? Because we got the platform, we got the walls, we got the base, we got the candidates, and we've got that person who bubbles to the top, and they know what we expect. Next thing that happens is you notice that a lot of other non-libertarians, old party people, start paying attention, start seeing you. And this is what happened. I started receiving help from obscure quarters. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say this. I haven't said this in public. I've always kept this quiet. Do you know that Ed Rendell helped me in my 2002 race? Early July, we had 10,000 signatures in hand. We needed 30. We got a month to go. We were struggling. And we thought, you know, the typical conventional wisdom is that we take votes from the Republicans. Now, my own analysis says that's not true. We take votes from everybody, all the time. We thought, no, let's give it a shot. So my campaign manager called Ed Rendell's campaign manager. First thing Ed Rendell's campaign manager said was, how's your petition drive going? He said, well, you know, that's really what we're calling about. Maybe you could give us some help. You know what he said? He said, yes! First thing he did, he says, how are you paying your people? How's your petition drive structured? They restructured our entire petition drive. We wound up doing it at half the cost for paid petitions. We renegotiated contracts, all based on the advice we got from them. And he said, not only that, tell you what, how many more do you need? Well, about 20,000. Somebody told me, oh, Ken, you're just a pawn in Ed Rendell's game. He's pushing you about the board. I said, dude, we're in the game! Isn't that what we want? And why are we in the game? Because we have that base. Because we have people who've bubbled up, who've stepped up to the plate to do these things. So we get help from unlikely quarters. We also get dissed from likely quarters. The Republican in the race, Mike Fisher. Do you remember? Remember he tearing up the dollar bills on TV? That was great. It's got to be the thing I'm best known for in non-libertarian circles. Well, Mike Fisher, the Republican, tried to have me barred from all the future debates with, well, you have no respect for money, he's tearing up dollar bills. Like, Mike, get a life! He gave me such publicity over that. Of course, nobody listened to him. He just sounded like an old guy whining, you know? And what happened? My local Republican commitment came to me. He was furious with his candidate. He said, he gave you $100,000 worth of free advertising. And he did. So you get help and you get hindrance. But you also find yourself being noticed by somebody else. The media. The media will start saying, oh yeah, he's the guy who had all those local candidates here last year with all those members with the platform of individual liberty. What happens is, I go out to Erie, one of the largest cities, I guess third largest, fourth largest city in Philadelphia. Front page of the Erie Times when I went up there. That's me setting up my campsite on the shores of Lake Erie. And you pitch. You see down here, there's Ed Rendell and Mike Fisher. They happened to be in town that night. I didn't even know. You go to page 8, there's me and my lovely wife Roberta sitting on the sands of Lake Erie. Down here, oh yeah, oh by the way, Ed was here too, and so was Mike Fisher. The media starts to notice because they say, this is the guy at the top of the pyramid. What's important? Is it the guy? No, it's the pyramid. That's why. The pyramid allows the person to bubble to the top. And after a while, the media doesn't just notice you, the media helps you. I mentioned I needed 30,000 signatures to get on the ballot. One morning a few years ago, I received a call from the Pennsylvania Cable Network from the number 3 guy, their news director. They go out to 3 million homes in Pennsylvania. 7:30 in the morning. Hello, Ken. Yeah, come over, PCA. Listen, last night at 1:30 in the morning, the Pennsylvania legislature voted to triple your signature requirement to 78,000. Like, what? I was awake, I'll tell you. You don't want to get woken up like that. But he called. He told us. We weren't watching. Before the sun set that day, we had press releases out. We had lines out to the other third parties. We had people speaking on it. We had demonstrations planned. We wound up on TV. We wound up testifying before the State House Government Committee. And you know what? We defeated that bill. We defeated it. Why? Because the media helped us. And why did the media help us? Because we have this pyramid. It gets bigger all the time. On a national level, it goes up one more. We wind up with a Pennsylvania pyramid. There's a Delaware pyramid, a Jersey pyramid, a California pyramid. There are 51, or 52, Puerto Rico, 52 separate pyramids. And upon that pyramid, those collection of pyramids, Michael Bednar. Why is he up there? Why did he get 400,000 votes? Because we have learned what Jesse Ventura never learned, what Ross Perot never learned, what Ralph Nader never learned, what George Wallace never learned, is that you cannot go it alone. We libertarians are here for the long haul. This is not a sprint, this is a marathon. Pyramid is how we have to stay on top of it. The doors that it opens are enormous. They're innumerable. They're everywhere. On the national level, you may find yourself being invited to speak at a convention in a neighboring state. Imagine that. On a state level, let me give you a for instance. This is new news in Pennsylvania. 2 months ago, Ed Rendell, my good buddy, started a task force to look into elections, reforming elections, after this Florida debacle and everything like that. We said, dude, we got to collect 10 times as many signatures as the two old parties. This is our big chance. So we got together with the other third parties, the Greens, the Reforms, the Constitutionals, the America First Party, the No Pay Raise Party, the Prohibition Party. That was a tribute with those guys. We disagree. We disagree on 1,000 things, but we all agree on one thing: fair ballot access. We drafted a white paper, got on the phone. Hey, Rendell, listen, can you add something to your agenda? Yes! Yes! In 3 weeks, we are testifying before his commission to add to it, reducing the signature requirements to increase voter participation. That's what kind of doors open. That's the state level. At the county level, I get a call from Philadelphia Inquirer. Hey Ken, I hear you libertarians are against that open space referendum in Montgomery County. How'd you like to write an article, an editorial for the newspaper about it? No. Of course I'm going to do it. He says, oh, and by the way, it's a paid position. We'll fax you the contract. Paid? You're going to pay me to write an article for your newspaper? Dude! I pay you! Why did they call me? Because I had to do the strange shaped thing. Riding on the backs of our local candidates, riding on the backs of America's third largest party, based on individual responsibility and personal freedom. What a trip. So that's national, state, regional, and local. This is brand new news. This is Wednesday this happened. There's a gentleman in Abington Township does a cable show called Abington News and Views. It's a touchy-feely kind of thing. They do bar mitzvahs, tree plantings, and they have a softball guest interview. The guest gives them questions, they read the questions, and he answers them. I was on the show a few times. It's real cool. We were talking about some of the political things going on in Abington Township. And he said, you know, Ken, I think we should get broader coverage of these things. How would you like to host a 10-minute editorial segment on my show? Anything you want to say. Wednesday is happening. I'm sorry, Tom, I can't do that. No, I'm there. I need a name for the show. I can't wait until news of this hits the Abington Township Commissioners. Just can't wait. Because I'm going to stand up there and say, I am your worst nightmare! I'm a libertarian with a megaphone! And it's going to start within the next couple of weeks. I'm sure you're going to see it in the LP News, because this is going to get big. Week after week after week, I'm going to get 10 minutes of pipeline to 45,000 homes in my local area. What a deal. Why? Thank you. It's not just me. Part of it's Toastmasters. Part of it are the people that on whose shoulders I'm lying. So it opens doors, immense doors. So make no mistake, when you're here today, for this Delaware convention. You're not just here to get together and have a couple of beers, see old friends, young friends, I should say. You're here to do something serious. You're here to continue building these pyramids. You're here to make sure it happens. You're here to make sure that that party infrastructure is there, so that when somebody walks in the door, another one of these green balls, that there's a place for that person. And then when somebody decides they're going to step up to the plate, run for office, go to local meetings, serve on one of your committees, you're ready for them. Slot them right in, they get working immediately. And that's important. Volunteers tend to lose interest quickly if they're not paying attention to it. And you have to be there. You have to be there. Because if you're not there, you pick on one of these walls. Focus your attention to which wall it is. If you're missing one of these walls, what happens? The whole thing falls apart. The word LP. Isaac Newton once said, "The reason why I see further is because I stand on the shoulders of great men." Ladies and gentlemen, this room is filled with great libertarians. This state, this nation is filled with great libertarians. And there are other libertarians who need to stand on your shoulders. You don't have to be tall. This is a very small rail that held in all of that pyramid. We have to make sure that our pyramid is the same, is there, strong. And I hear later on today, you people will be electing walls. Think about what I said today. Because without these walls, what's going to happen to the Libertarian Party of Delaware? Remember the mantra of the grassroots activists. I heard it first from Dick Body, a great man. 10 words, 2 letters each. If it is to be, it is up to me. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now up to you to make sure that that box is there, that it's strong, that it's large, and it welcomes other people. Because the alternative to stacking those cannonballs is that there won't be metaphorical cannonballs anymore. They'll wind up being real cannonballs. And that's the last thing we want. Thank you.
This is just what we need to hear. I assume we take questions?
Absolutely. On any subject.
Can I start? I'll start. I heard rumors at the last national convention about you and OE. There anything to those rumors?
There are things to those rumors, yes.
Not new stuff.
Sure, I'd be happy to give a summation. As many of you know, I ran for the vice presidential nomination in 2000. I came in third. Yeah, you mentioned that as part of the introduction. It was great. In the end, it was Steve Covey and Art Olivier, and they were about 40-some%. I had about 10%. I threw my support behind Art Olivier, and he became the candidate. That was interesting. But I had such a good time doing that, and I got such a good response from national libertarians that I said, I'm going to think about doing it again. And I was thinking about doing it in 2004, but business concerns led me to hold back from the race, because as George mentioned, I had closed down my other consulting firm, which had been in business for 15 years, in order to spend full-time campaigning. Of course, now I started a new company. You can't keep a good guy down. And depending upon how that goes, my hat is right now in the ring for 2008. Either president or vice president this time. I think I've been once around the block. I think I can handle the next level up. Right now, though, it is not definite. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm promising an answer one way or the other by our convention in 2006. So that means in about a year and a couple of months, I will have made up my mind. It's going to be based on how well my company is doing, because you can't just kick off and work for a couple of years. It's kind of tough to do. I can't retire. I'm not wealthy. And it depends upon the family. It depends upon a whole lot of things. But right now, the answer is a definite maybe.
I'm sure there's some other questions here. Okay. You do very well as a public speaker, you obviously enjoy it. But I know you're a big Toastmasters fan, so how much Toastmasters, would you be doing what you're doing now if you hadn't been a Toastmasters?
Oh, George, I doubt it. Maybe I could try, but I could not do nearly as well as what I'm doing now. Toastmasters, for those of you who don't know, is an international organization whose mission is to provide a supportive environment to learn public speaking and leadership skills. A lot of people think it's only public speaking, but it's the leadership that really adds. I learned diplomacy, parliamentary procedure, all sorts of things within Toastmasters. Toastmasters gave me my wings, George. I used to be scared half to death to stand up in front of a crowd. I'd get up there, and, my asthma would kick in, my knees would shake. My first meeting, first Toastmasters meeting, they said, all right, anybody can get up in just 1 minute, answer the question. Who gave you your wings? Well, I didn't answer that, because I ran, but that's another story. And I went to raise my hand, and I didn't raise my hand. But over the years, Toastmasters, with their support, their assistance, and their feedback, enabled me to stand up in front of any crowd. I could talk to a crowd of thousands just as well as one-on-one. And I think that was one of the big edges that I had in 2002, the governor's race. How many people saw my debate? Does anybody see my debate? I was the only one who was a Toastmaster. Toastmasters, we practice 1-minute responses all the time. Somebody said, well, you got 1 minute to answer this question. It's like, I do this all the time. But it was Toastmasters that gave me the training, the confidence, the skill, the ability to know how to tick things off on my fingers, ability to use props, all sorts of things. Go to Toastmasters. It's the best possible thing you can do for the party. Not only for yourself to allow you to speak in public, but also it's an interesting low-key outreach. I did a speech on gun control once, which you can tell what side of the fence I was on. I was a target speaker for an evaluation contest. 5 people had to evaluate my speech, and then they judged which one was the best evaluation. Well, I stood up there and said, we should be allowed to have guns. We could have prevented school shootings, we could have done this, we could have done that. One of the contestants, he just imploded. He says, well, Ken, it was a great speech and I couldn't improve on it, but let me tell you what I think about gun control. Well, he lost. I'm not supposed to talk about the content, I'm supposed to talk about the presentation. But George, it was Toastmasters. You go to Toastmasters.org, you'll find a club nearby, or better yet, talk to George. Changed my life. I sent my kids there. They're all in their 20s now. It gives you confidence, it gives you poise, it gives you the ability to speak. And when you screw up, it gives you the ability to smooth it over. Questions?
Any other questions? I guess it's actually more fun to talk to the in person rather than ask questions. So thank you very much.
Thank you, George. Appreciate it. Thank you all.
I have to follow up on the Toastmasters thing. That when I decided 6-7 years ago, I thought I might want to do something with politics. I went to Toastmasters. My wife had been in for a long time, so I just went and joined her club. And it's made a tremendous difference. So, like the first time I chaired a convention, I was nervous about it. I got up there and started talking. I said, it's just like being Toastmaster. I've done this over and over. We'll do that once in a while. And then the other thing I'd like to follow up, and Ken did such a nice job in mentioning with his platform, the walls, is that almost everybody in the state of Delaware that's eligible or likely to be a good officer of this party is in this room right now. So I hope you all think about that, and when time, maybe you can talk to some other people about it. When time comes for nominations at around 5 o'clock or 4:30, and we'll hope that somebody will step forward and take the party to the next level. So thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Nancy.